Would you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over? Or would you walk away this time? 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Will you rise above the days to come? Will it be enough? Or will you walk away this time? Look to your left, to your right, there by your side. 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light in the dead of the night. Feel that rush through time. Can you feel this? You found change. Only yourselves are here again. If you had it all, but you looked the fall in the eye, could you walk away this time? Do you realize, do you recognize it's never over? 'Cause we all face the fire as we search for the light on the edge of the night.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment we have all been waiting for, the final weekend of the Serenity Gaming Wintersplit. And to kick off tonight's night is the Tejn Esport versus Serenity Gaming semi-final. I'm Kachka and I'm joined today by Karen.
Hello everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful weekend, whether you are in Randers in the LAN event or if you're sitting at home at your computers. Well, I really hope that you have brought some snacks and some drinks because goddammit, today is gonna go down. We're gonna be seeing who is going to be participating tomorrow in the Division 2 finals, of course in LAN, and who is going to take the title of the Serenity Gaming Wintersplit champion.
Definitely. However, for both of these teams to get there, they need to win the match today. So how about we focus on that? Tejn Esport versus Caeli. Where are you looking at for either of these teams?
So, the thing with Caeli, right, I have to sort of bring the mood down just a tiny bit. Caeli have sort of been struggling. Of course, they are coming off of a win against Crater in the quarterfinals, but, well, they haven't been looking that hot. Most of the team, that is. One person that I'm more specifically looking at is Unique on the top lane. I really want to see him step up today. He is going to be pretty much the rock for Caeli, because if he doesn't get ahead, if he doesn't get a winning matchup in the top lane, everywhere else, Tejn are just going to dominate Caeli. They really need at least one single lane where they aren't getting absolutely pushed away. Because, well, if they are, you cannot win with 3 losing lanes. That's all that I'm going to say.
Definitely. And for Tejn, you mentioned that mid lane, you mentioned that bot lane. Let's maybe talk about the players more. The Tejn mid laner Coin, this guy is insane. His KD throughout the season is off charts. I believe it's something like 16 or 17. His kill participation is high. I don't think I have seen him lose a single lane. Caeli, they will have a very hard job to try to contain him.
I mean, yeah, well, I'm still looking at the mid lane as a possibility for Caeli to sort of gain something, because when we have seen Koing, well, not precisely lose the lane, but rather not to win it super hard, the games of Tejn have actually looked very different. They always rely on Koing being the biggest carry for them, and if you manage to shut him down, or at least make sure that he doesn't snowball, especially if he is on a carry pick like an Caeli or something along those terms, you are limiting the possibilities of Tejn tremendously, because outside of the mid lane, they don't precisely have as strong of lanes. So Caeli can try to do something with the jungler, with the mid laner. Perhaps they can work in tandem and just sit on this mid lane, not let Koing get ahead, or they can once again, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, just go to top lane and funnel everything into Hunage.
Definitely, and you know, one thing you need to mention is Holberg for mid lane in Caeli, the guy that will be going against Koing tonight. He can play those control mages and the wave through champions really well, and it's probably one of the best ways in which you can contain an aggressive mid laner. Just show out his lane, make sure he cannot dive you, and you even make the roaming harder. So Caeli, they do have answers. However, well, they still have to take the actual first game of Tejn. They haven't lost a single Nexus. The only point they lost was because they were a bit too late to one of their matches, and then they ended up taking the 2 games. So
yeah.
Tejn still did not lose a single game, and Caeli, they have a huge challenge in front of them.
Yeah, they haven't lost just yet. However, it is up to this David to beat this Goliath in the form of Caeli. We are going to be looking at how they want to take them down. Of course, I mentioned some possibilities for them, most namely sitting on mid lane and top lane, but we can also focus on that bot lane. Now, Tejn have gone on record that they are really confident in going into the playoffs. They want to take every single game 2-0, so a loss today for them is actually going to be a bit of a mental boom, let's say. I'm not speaking perhaps as a loss in the semifinals completely. Perhaps even one game can be a bit detrimental. However, I am looking at the bot lane. Can Yelperen with Hekatos actually start doing something? Because they are a really solid bot lane, but it always feels like if Yelperen leaves the lane, which is what he tends to do a lot, Hekatos doesn't tend to find so many of these leads himself. And that is where I am focusing for Gorange and Nick the Panda to try to punish them and get themselves those leads as well.
Something that I'm excited about is Nick the Panda. He, in the quarterfinals, has played both Cassiopeia and Nico in this AD positions. Champions that he hasn't played in the regular season. And if you can bring them out, if you can make them work, which he did against Crater, it could be very exciting. But we are jumping straight into that pick and ban, and Kennen is the first champion to be removed.
So just paying attention to that, Unica's top lane, of course, one of his most confident comfort picks right now. Ezreal, Thresh, and Zoe also accompanying them. Perhaps a bit unorthodox. I thought there was going to be more focus on the top lane as it is now with that Jax taken away. Of course, Zoe taking it away from Koing. He has had a couple of games where he managed to pop off, but something like a LeBlanc, something like a Caeli, perhaps even Katarina can now be picked up by him.
Yeah, or a Jace as well. We're gonna be the first pick. And Hunike, he likes those carry top laners. The thing is, Resourcen, if it is top lane, it could be a Jace mid. But if it is top lane, then Resourcen, I mean, he doesn't really play that much of a top lane. He's also a jungle main, so I'm pretty interested to see how he will play that champion.
Yeah, of course. Now, Caeli, they are looking to respond with an Aurelia. Once again, just flex picks all over the board. Of course, Aurelia more distant towards the top lane, especially after the changes that she has received, and also from the playstyle that Holberg has. So likely Jace against Aurelia. That is going to be really interesting. However, the problem with that is Aurelia generally doesn't fare off too well when playing into something both ranged and if it is Jace. So there is a really big possibility that this top lane is going to be a losing one as we are just flowing through the bans. Jesus Christ, Tejn, they are getting everything that they wanted. An aggressive bot laner, a jungler that can set up all of these ganks. Of course, can technically be an AP, you know, support Jarvan, as well as an aggressive top laner. So far, everything going to Tejn's colors.
I think someone needs to call Flexius, because those are so many picks that can be flexed around the map. You said Jarvan can be played support, most likely jungle can also be played top lane, Jace can play top lane, mid lane, even AD carry position, Cassiopeia also, all top lane, mid lane, ADC, Aurelia. I'm gonna make a guess it's going to Hunike, because he has played in the quarterfinals and looked pretty well, and Caeli, they also lock in themselves the Braum for the support.
right now, of course, it can be technically the Cassiopeia-Braum combo, which is a super safe thing. You essentially eliminate any sort of jumping on top of you. Right now, Caeli, they're thinking, okay, this Jace is going to the top lane, most likely into the hands of Resource, and we have not seen Koing play it just yet, and so they're just banning something else from Koing's arsenal. Syndra, Vladimir focused both on top of him. Perhaps unorthodox, you could say once again, simply because Koing, he loves to snowball, and, well, the mages don't precisely shout that. So, once again, that assassin arsenal still open and ready for him. Of course, if it is Cassiopeia mid, that is going to be a bit more difficult to pull off, but it is instead going to be the Lissandra mid lane and the Caspot.
And I think Lissandra does manage to solve some of the problems you talked about fairly well. If you are against an assassin, then you've got a lot of safety, especially if you go Aftershock. So Caeli getting that Lissandra, I'm gonna make once again a guess for Holberg. It's gonna be a safe champion, and pretty much no matter what Koing will pick, that lane should not snowball, which doesn't mean it won't, because we have seen Koing just win matchups really far, but instead that is an Orianna.
Okay, he's not looking to snowball. That is interesting. They're putting more of that snowballing pressure onto Resource, and in this case it is going to be Orianna in the mid lane and Jarvan support, which I'm excited to see how it is going to be playing into that Braum, because Braum can cancel so many of these ganks out, but there is so much lockdown potential with this Sejuani in that bot lane, especially past level 6. So Caeli, they're still looking to just farm. If this Olaf is actually locked in, it can provide an option for Caeli to try to invade and perhaps shut the enemy jungler down. Of course, they are going to have a relatively even mid lane in the form of Lissandra and Orianna. And so right now, Caeli, they're sending me a mixed bag of emotions. They have some good early game in the form of Olaf and a strong 2v2 in the mid lane with the Lissandra-Olaf combo. They have some good setup in the form of the bot laner together with the Olaf and also a top lane. So, I mean, of course they have a top lane. I meant to say Irelia in the top lane, which can snowball as well. But Tejn, they have a very similar structure, except they have more damage in the bot lane. So Tejn looking to focus on both of these side lanes, and Caeli just looking to go on 2v2, perhaps 3v3, and just completely skirmish the hell out of the enemy junglers without waiting for them to gank them.
Something that I find personally interesting is that Koing, he's not playing a purely snowball champion. I think.
True.
Orianna mid lane. That seems very plausible, and I'm gonna place my bets on that, which is a new look for him, to be honest. He has played in the regular season the stuff like the Caeli, Zoe, Katarina, you name it. Anything that can just win lane and beat the ever-living hell out of you is something that Koing plays. Orianna, that is a more team-fighting champion. And now, the combo of Sejuani, Orianna, Jarvan, they could be a pretty strong team-fighting core for Tejn, especially considering that you said that Caeli want to go for those skirmishes.
Yeah, Caeli definitely wants to go for these skirmishes, and they also want to do these wombo combos. You will have a lot of setup and a lot of possible dive potential as well. So it is going to be a lot of explosive early game fights all across the board. You mentioned that Koing isn't on something that can snowball really well. I have to agree with you there. Orianna is one of the safest champions that you can always pick, and well, playing into Lissandra is pretty goddamn safe, let's be honest. So he is giving up that sort of renowned position of the main carry, and he's putting it into the other team. So it is going to be interesting to see how can Tejn actually fare without having Koing as their main source of carry and the main source of them getting those advantages.
Right, and what are we really looking at? Jace Irelia top lane matchup should be pretty interesting, and I'm not exactly sure in whose favor it should go, but I can definitely see some explosions going on there.
Oh yeah, I feel like Jace right now is in a really strong spot. He hasn't been touched for a long time, and especially against Irelia, someone who is melee, he is always going to be able to inflict a lot of poke damage. So, as long as Resourcen plays this well and doesn't completely into the laning phase, he should be able to just push Unique under his turret to no tomorrow. So, before level 6, there isn't anything that Unique can really do. After that, he can perhaps get Lazy Panda to alleviate some of the pressure off of him. I am really expecting for Tejn to sit on this top lane, make sure that Resourcen gets those leads, and that this Jace is so scary going into the mid lane, where he just can poke everyone down, and that is a possibility for Tejn to just win this game. Just pure poke.
And the top lane story is actually pretty interesting in the sense that if either of these players doesn't get ahead, then they will be a nuisance to their team. Jace, that is behind is a Jace that doesn't do a lot. And then we also have Hunike, the story that we build around Caeli. He needs to be the main carry, and he's on a champion that can take the game over very decisively once he gets that lead. So in the top lane, it will be a story of extreme success and extreme failure in my opinion. And I mean, this will be just so exciting to follow throughout the game.
Oh yeah, and another thing that we have to focus around this top lane is going to be the vision control. Can Resorson put his word down and make sure that they can track Lazy Panda? Especially, as I mentioned, past level 6, there is really little opportunity for him to get away from a gank, especially if he is going to be pushing Hunike under his turret, as I said. So, I'm still looking at him to control the vision and to track this jungler. It's going to be really important for the top lane, less so for the rest of the lanes. However, if we focus on something like the bot lane, I mentioned that it's going to be pretty easy for Cassiopeia and Braum to stay alive, simply because they can combine the Miasma together with the stuns and the disengaged Glacial Fissure. So, however, just ignore everything that I said. Before level 6, there is a really big opportunity for this Yellow Baron on that Jarvan to inflict a lot of poke damage, and after that they can go in. They don't necessarily need to wait for the Glacial Prison to come up on Sejuani, because they have enough setup and knock-ups themselves. So, Rose, they can go into that top lane, sure, get a quick 2v1 potential dive onto Hunike because he's going to be really squishy in the early game, or he can also go to bot lane, and well, they're just going to be leaving Coin to his own destiny once again.
One thing I want to look at though, Yelper and Jarvan. This guy really loves his playmakers and the roaming supports. He's very active on the map throughout the whole regular season, and he also loves to play around his mid laner, which, well, with Orianna is not maybe the best thing you want to do. So my question to you is, do you think we'll see Yelper prioritize on the lane and get Hecatos on the Lucian ahead, or try to roam around the map?
So from this very composition, I would be already expecting that he is going to prioritize getting Lucian ahead, because if you don't manage to do so, it's just going to be so difficult for him to do anything in the mid game. However, you do put forth a very interesting point, because Jarvan functions as a really important ball delivery system for this Orianna. There is going to be a lot of wombo combos being formed by Coin and Yelperin, so he can go into the mid lane, and he has also a really nice what's it called? Roam path, yes, that's the one. So, the problem with that is, they are going to be pushed in by this Cassiopeia who outranges Lucian. So, my eyes are still going to be on him. Is he going to be able to come up with some ingenious roams? Because ideally, Nick the Panda and Goran should have complete control over the vision in the bot side river.
And this is where also the junglers are gonna come into play, because, you know, we can talk about the lane priorities, and they are very important, because if you find yourself with all your lanes being pushed in, then you are screwed. However, there is always a jungler that is benefiting from that lane dynamic, and that is using it. We've got Olaf and Sejuani, both junglers that want to gank a lot. Where do you think both of them will try to focus? How do they try to play out this early game?
So, I'm mostly looking forward to seeing Olaf playing with the Lissandra. Mid lane is the lane where the champion gets his first level 6 of the entire map. So, he is going to be able to just come around to mid lane, because Olaf doesn't necessarily need his ultimate for good ganks. He is mostly reliant on his champions that are actually laning. So, as soon as Lissandra gets access to that ultimate, to that Frozen Tomb, he's going to be able to run to mid lane and set up a quick gank, burn that cleanse that Coin has, and run over to do a repeat gank. Outside of that, he isn't going to have too many opportunities early on, because Braum and Cassiopeia, sure, they can get some nice engage, but they're really reliant on hitting skill shots. So, well, not the best of opportunities. I'm also looking at the top lane, because Hunike is going to be pushed in permanently, and there is a big possibility that if Resorson once again doesn't pay enough respect to Lazy Panda, that he is going to just get killed by this Olaf and Aurelia, who, while Aurelia is worse than Jace in the early game, the 2v2 is going to be much stronger.
Yeah, I think we talked about the team comps a lot, and now I just want to bring it more into how these playoffs have been already forming up in those quarterfinals. And something that is a very interesting point is that both Caeli and Roskilde, they had quarterfinal matchups in which you would expect them to be dominant. However, neither of these teams actually got a clean 2-0. Roskilde got a 2-0, it wasn't clean. In 2 games, they played a total of 70 minutes of League of Legends. Those games were not close by any means. And Caeli, they lost the game against Crater, and then they managed to come back into the series. So the point that I'm trying to reach is, is it the fact that Tejn and Lyra, the top two teams, are just so far ahead of the other four? Or is it that now that we've reached playoffs, the teams are getting much more competitive, they are willing to just put so much more fire in, so much more prep, and the gaps aren't actually as big as they seemed in the regular season?
It very much is possible that this gap has sort of closed. I know that it sounds like a meme, but it really isn't, because I believe that Tejn and Caeli were playing together in the beginning of the second half of the split. So there has been a lot of room and a lot of time for improvement from the side of Caeli, and I feel like today they can show us that they have become this Kingslayer that they wish to be against Tejn. And well, we are loading into Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Please show us some love for the teams in the chat. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Tejn taking the win and moving over to the finals, or is it going to be Caeli slaying the Kings and taking the spot of the more dominant team out of these two?
Yeah, and there is once again the beautiful intro. These games are so high. We've got such a great weekend. Just a recap. After this match, it will be the second Division 2 semi-final between Lyra and Roskilde. And then tomorrow we've got both Division 1 semi-finals and Division 2 finals after that. So a lot of games. And then on Sunday, we've got the Division 1 final. Obviously, finals are being best of 5. So you guys have a lot to watch as we are gonna go into the game. And something that immediately stands out is that the typical Tejn invade is not happening in playoffs.
Oh, it is not. Whew. Are they perhaps scared? Are they perhaps not that confident going against Caeli? There is a lot of actual respect being paid, as Lazy Panda in the meantime in the top side river was able to run and throw a few axes at Coing. Of course, not much damage being dealt to him, but regardless, so far, Caeli with a boring setup, we can say, not much happening, and both teams paying respect to each other. I am going to be looking at if that respect is going to be still paid going later into the game, but well, for now, Jelperen might get dealt some damage.
He's getting frisky. Holberg is gonna get the ice shard onto him, just a little damage and a slow. Seems that both of the junglers might be starting bot side. However, Lazy Panda is actually not getting a leash.
Well, I mean, Lazy Panda, he is playing Olaf, which is a champion that doesn't necessarily have to start with a leash, so it makes sense in that case, of course. He doesn't want to do anything in these first couple of levels. He just wants to get a nice little clear, go back to his base, pick up those Predator boots, and only after that can he look to influence the lanes. I mentioned that he isn't going to have too much setup before that level 6 is hit in the mid lane, and I still stand by that. However, he can move into that top lane. Right now, it's remaining pretty competitive over there. Unique not getting pushed down by Resourcen just yet, but if he is, it's a potential route for him to take.
Definitely is. Taking a look at how the lanes are shaping up early. The bot lane from Caeli, they managed to get the shove in on the first wave, which now has been equalized, so not a lot happening. Actually, Nick the Panda and Gorange get the level 2 first. That is a lot of damage onto Hecatos.
Yeah, really nicely done there from the bot lane of Caeli. Pretty much perfectly, utilizing that level 2 spike. Of course, not a big surprise given that Cassiopeia does have the superior range, together with her spells that she can actually utilize. And in the top lane, Unique gets pushed down by Resourcen a bit.
Yeah, this lane is going to be very intensive with all these trades, the dashes, the damage actually that both of these champions can deal seemingly out of nowhere will make it a pretty explosive matchup. But as we said in the champion select and before the game, Resourcen is getting the early push in, which is to be expected of a Jace.
Yeah, of course, he is ranged, and Aurelia isn't, so I feel like that speaks for everything. Of course, now you do see Lazy Panda just roaming around to the top side of the map. He did manage to get that clear in the bot side. Hasn't actually gone back for the Predator boots just yet, which is interesting. He's just telling us that he doesn't want to go for any quick early game shenanigans. He just wants to farm up for a bit, wait for that level 6 to be hit on the mid lane, and only after that can he try to influence the map.
I do have to agree, very passive or defensive jungling from both Rose and the Lazy Panda. They aren't looking for those early ganks. I think some of it might be because, well, it is hard to gank a lane. Top lane seems to be the most viable option, considering how safe bot lane currently is without at least this big CC coming through. And mid lane, well, you said it, you need the level 6s.
And the problem with that is, right, that Lazy Panda is doing this defensive clear, is that he has to utilize an a window of opportunity where he can gank, but Rose can't. Sejuani is pretty damn reliant on that level 6, and I said that she can gank the bot lane without needing it, but she is still going to be much better off with that Glacial Prison. Now I have to cut myself short as in the top lane. Hunike is getting down. Yeah,
Hunike half HP, the knockaway coming from Resource, and he might be fishing for the kill. The Shock Blast takes Hunike down below 200 HP, but he will hold on to his flash and stay alive.
Of course, a lot of pressure being dealt there by that Jace. He is going to push down another wave. Hunike likely going to be able to pick those up, but he has to be careful here for that Shock Blast. He can be deleted right now. Of course, Jace has incredible amounts of damage in the early game, and so far he's been able to utilize them effectively, but now Lazy Panda is there.
Yeah, the Undertow does find his own good flash from Resource, and avoiding the flawless duet stun, I think he should be able to get under his own turret. Nice gank from Lazy Panda, just burning the summoner early on.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that we see Lazy Panda doing something in that early game because, well, he really does live up to his name most of the time. Throughout the regular season, he hasn't been too active in the map, and we had moments where we thought, okay, he's been looking a bit better, he has to step up, he has to get these aggressive ganks early on, and so far, he's saying that, well, he is going to be looking to do so as now Vision is set up in that top side jungle, just making sure that they know where Rose is, as he is going to be going for that level 6 clear.
Yeah, he will do it in just a short time, currently sitting on those rates. And you mentioned Division. I am really impressed with the early deep vision, something that you don't really see often. We are not even 6 minutes into the game, and there are so many wards. Holberg, he takes the Glacial Path, and he's got level 6, whereas Coing doesn't. So far the lanes for Caeli, they are going well.
And they are going well. Of course, the bot lane is getting pushed in now that Lucian and Jarvan have all of their abilities up and ready. Of course, Olaf has been able to go back, and he has picked up the boots with Predator Enchantment. Now, I'm still looking at this top lane. This is so scary for both these sides.
Yeah, Hunike dropping below half health, but however, he gets a lot of heals now. Resource and dropping very low. Can Hunike go for the first flash forward? Auto attack, and Hunike solo kills Resource in the top lane.
This is so big, because we were not expecting this to happen. We were expecting Hunike to get pushed down, but instead, he is the one getting the lead. He is the one getting himself ahead, and Aurelia, such an explosive champion, really good for Caeli that they get this early lead on.
And that is even before he had access to his ultimate. I believe he's at level 6 just after that. Now Lazy Panda is gonna get spotted by Yelper, and now there are 3 members of Tejn. The Shockwave is gonna catch him through the flash away. Hecato's following, and the auto attack will be enough as Tejn get themselves a kill on the board.
And well, Tejn, they reply. They say, okay, we managed to die on the top lane, however, we're going to make up for that with a quick proactive play in the bot lane. Of course, catching Lazy Panda out. That kill did go to Lucian, so Hekatos is going to be looking mighty thick. And well, Holberg, he gets ganked in the mid lane, is forced to flash, but not much happens there. Coing, of course, still is sitting on both the flash and the cleanse, so it is pretty difficult for Lazy Panda to do anything around that department, but he really should start to prioritize this lane, because if Coing can just farm freely, I mentioned that they have to shut him down, especially if he isn't on something that can snowball super well, and so right now, he's just farming and getting himself into a comfortable position.
And he's got the Sorcery, which is a pretty interesting start onto your Orianna, giving you quite a lot of burst damage, since no one really is buying that early MR.
Of course. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage, perhaps signaling that she wants to, or yes, that she wants to fight together with Rose, of course. Speaking of that, of course, bot side Rift there.
Yeah, Rose and Lazy Panda, they are training balls. Gorange jumps into the fight, however, level 6 on the Sejuani and no ultimate on Lazy Panda. He's gonna be taken down by Yelper. Now Gorange might just get cut down. One threat, so flashes over the wall, the permafrost finds it, stun, and Coing with the ball over the wall. Tejn pick up 2 kills.
And a great play there from Tejn, getting themselves back into the lead, into the main seed in this game. Good rotation there from the bot lane, making sure that they can secure those 2 kills easily. No defense there from Caeli. Now in the top lane, Hunike misses his ultimate. That is rough. As well, things are still looking pretty damn even.
Well, Hunike, he's still playing aggressively on that Aurelia, has managed to build up a very sizable CS lead, currently sitting at 20, will be equalized to some extent as the wave is crashing into Resource. So I am still looking for Hunike to snowball that lead. That one ultimate, it sucks, you don't have it for a minute, but you still have the capability to make the plays, and after his performance in the quarterfinals, I know that he can actually get the snowball and be the carry for Caeli.
And it is really important that he does get ahead, because if he isn't, it locks down the 1-3-1, or rather, yeah, the 1-3-1, kind of, that Caeli can try to pull off. So he has to be ahead. He has to be able to match Jace in that side lane later on. If he isn't ahead, that is going to escalate into the mid game, going straight into Tejn's favor. Most of the wins that we have seen them pull off is through this split push, and right now, Caeli are on a good way to counter that just by getting a strong solo laner themselves.
And so far, 9 minutes into the game, the scoreboard reads 3-1. The kills are sitting on Koing, Hecatus, and Yelpren. And the kill being on Hecatus, that first kill for Tejn, is going to be crucial, because once that Lucian hits the Blade of the Ruined King, it's probably one of the best early power spikes you can think of in the game.
Especially given that there aren't too many tanky members on the side of Caeli. He's just going to be able to rip through them. This Cassiopeia has no sort of escape on her own, so she is going to be unable to run away from this strong AD carry that Lucian is. Right now, all across the map, Hallberg is fishing for something, is going to just go back. And where are the junglers? So, Rosé is in the bot side, clearing out some vision that Caeli managed to put down a lot of this deep vision that you preluded to a few minutes ago. And now, Koing, he is getting the better side of that mid lane. That is really important, because once again, he wants to be a big threat in these team fights on this Orianna, but a possible dive now coming on that bot lane. They are going to get spotted by the control ward though.
Yeah, the pressure in the mid lane allows Koing to move down bot lane. He's got the shockwave. He's gonna catch onto Gorge, who's now stuck in that catalyst and pops down the Fissure. Jumps over it. However, Rosé will still get the kill with that Wintersplit. Good rotation coming in for Tejn.
A really nice rotation. They knew that Hallberg nor Hunike don't have those teleports up and ready, so they could do whatever they wished. Of course,
I think the Panda, he's going 1 versus 4. He cannot find anything, and Yelpren just gets another kill. Tejn, they are running away with more and more unanswered leads.
And that is simply tragic if you're Caeli. Now Tejn are going to be able to get so many of these gold turret plates. Of course, in the top lane, Hunike has to go back as well. Yet Resorsen has been so good at just rotating from the top lane to mid lane to deny any sort of leads being taken from them. And right now, Tejn, they are getting everything. They managed to even destroy the turret, and that is going to open up the map so much more for all of these potential Drakes. Lazy Panda is in a weird position. Okay, that was very risky of him.
I just want to throw back to where it all came from. Tejn, using the Koing pressure in the mid lane, they have been able to secure the vision, and as soon as Koing got a free hand, it was a easy romance fight coming through. Now Koing flashes forward, he's gonna get caught by the miasma, doesn't have the ultimate, and that is a bit of an oof initiation from Tejn.
And Lazy Panda has actually stepped out of line more than just once. I'm holding my breath because Gorange is sitting still alone against those 3 members of Tejn. Nothing going to come from that. However, Lazy Panda, he has to sort of stop, I wanted to say inting, but he's not inting, you know. He has to stop getting caught out as much, because it is giving all of these big leads to Tejn, and Tejn are really good at just running away with them, as we saw. Resorsen knowing what to do, just having to stop the push in response. Hecatus able just to run away. However, now, Caeli, they're at least going to be able to retake all of this vision.
I see a big problem if you are Caeli, because you've got the Lissandra, you've got the Braum, you've got the Cassiopeia. You kind of want to maybe try to find one person from Tejn being out of position, but so many of their champions are so slippery. The only one that doesn't really have too much engage is Orianna, and then maybe you can argue the Jace. But any other champion, the Sejuani, the Lucian, the Jarvan, they all have escape abilities. So Tejn, they have a lot of safety to play with and snowball their lead even more without risking throwing the game.
Especially now that the only really big lane where it isn't going terrible for Caeli is that top lane. They're still going to have the guarantee in Irelia. Hallberg playing really aggressive into Koing here.
Yeah, the shockwave finds his mark on Lissandra. Now good flash away under that turret. In the end, it's a trade of summoners and ultimates. The mid lane turret is going to be the target. However, I feel like Hallberg will just be able to clear those minions safely.
Hallberg, he doesn't have the range advantage over Orianna, of course, so he still has to pay a lot of respect to them. But still, nothing goes down. A few bits of HP taken away from that turret. The opponent may be looking to do something. However, Gorange is there to support Hallberg, and so things calm down. However, this Riftherald, he is spawned, he is healthy, and he's ready to be taken by the side of Tejn.
Rose is already sitting over there in that pit, and the control around that top side over means that Caeli don't have too many options. However, here is Holberg going in, does not find the engage. The Glacial Prison is coming as well as the Glacial Fissure. Yelpren is the target, gonna get stand up, and looks like Caeli might get the first kill of the fight. Now look at the top side, this man has to flash over the wall, followed by Resource and knocked back into his team, and Resource gets the 1-for-1 trade.
And a bit of a miscommunication there from Caeli. Lazy Panda once again running solo into 3 people, getting caught out and dying. Very unfortunate there from Caeli. They were able to find 1 kill, but you have to stop giving these advantages to Tejn, because they're just getting more and more and more, and they're just going to be so much more able to run away with this game.
Yeah, already the gold being 3,500. However, there's one shining star for Caeli. I am looking at Hunike. He's close to completing his Triforce. Still quite a way to go. If you take a look at his gold, he's sitting on 800. So, well, he still has to catch up. But once he has that Triforce and is able to stay on his side lane, nearly uncontested. I mean, the Jace is gonna be strong, but I don't think he's gonna match in the side lane. That is a very reliable way through which Caeli win. As in the top lane, we are seeing the fights. Good petrifying gaze from the Panda. Might just secure the disengage. That was a beautiful play to get him out to safety.
Really important that they don't die. Once again, they have to just make sure that this top lane turret can remain healthy. Rift Herald, if it is taken from Tejn, it's just going to be able to let them run away with the game so much more quicker. A lot of damage now being dealt to it.
Oh, Holberg tagged by the Shockwave, pops the Frozen Tomb and a nice Glacial Path as Rose. He was fancying himself a gang in that mid lane, unable to find it in the end. And I really like that Caeli, they aren't just falling back yet, they are still putting up a fight.
And they aren't falling back just yet. Hunike is in that sideline that you mentioned. However, they're losing these little skirmishes all across the board. Nick the Panda paying perhaps a bit too much respect right now. Now they may be looking to go in onto Hekatos and Yelperen.
Yeah, Gorange, very aggressive positioning. It's already gonna get dropped. Oh, Hekatos popping down the calling. Nick the Panda 200 HP. However, here comes Lazy Panda. Can he find anything? Pops down to Ragnarok, taking a lot of damage. And the Yelperen picks up Gorange. Trying to get a 2-4 now mid lane. Good Glacial Path from Holberg. However, can he escape? There is no back. And Rose dashes in under the turret. Holberg still taking low with the ignite. But the kill is gonna get picked up. Hunike can't get anything. Flash for it. Flawless Duet finds the stun onto Rose. That Sejuani is still tanky. Is it tanky enough? The answer is no. Hunike gets a kill back for Caeli.
And you can get a kill on Irelia, but is that going to be enough? I ask you. 6k gold. Wait, no, not 6k. Damn it. 5k gold lead now, sitting in the pockets of Tejn. A really important play there in the top lane. They managed to get the turret. Yelperen with a clutch engage at the end, just sitting down on Nick the Panda, making sure that they can get the top lane turret. Opens up the map so much more. And another play in the mid lane opens up the mid lane as well. Coin able to take that turret, able to push in this wave, and just Gorange there to stop him. But this map is going to be so difficult for Caeli to now play around, simply because they don't have this safe reserve turret they want to fall back to now that Tejn are really fed.
And Yelperen, we talked about this guy being the playmaker for the team. He's playing a Jarvan. He wasn't really roaming because there was nowhere to roam to, but now in those fights he finds those clutch engages with the Jarvan. 8 out of 9 kills he has participated in. I can't even really think to the one that he wasn't a part of. And he's going to be so important once that mid-game strikes. The Cataclysm engage as well as the ball delivery system will be doing so much work for Tejn.
And Jarvan, he sort of falls off in the mid game, especially if you're playing him AP, but he does provide a lot more in the terms of raw engage, and that is really important because Nick the Panda doesn't have any ways to escape from the Cataclysm outside of the Flash. So, moving into that mid game, he's just going to be able to sit in this Cassiopeia. Hunike unable to really do too much against this resource, and he does have Ninja Tabai.
Yeah, the Vanguard's edge is popped down, but this Jace has so much armor. Hunike still dashing forward with that Blaze Surge resource, just able to laugh in his face and go under his own tower.
That is just, that's really unfortunate. Resource and also manages to run away from Nick the Panda and Gorange. However, the top lane turret is going to be taken by Caeli, so silver lining there for them. Is it actually gonna they're gonna have to back up for now.
Yeah, the minion wave is running short. Nick the Panda, he is on the chase. He wants to get that kill onto Resourcen, but they jump forward and Resourcen gets the solo kill. Now mid lane, Holberg pops something, throws into good flash away the open. He pops as well the stopwatch. Glacial Fissure does not find its mark. And Tejn, they're just getting away with so much right now. They will be able to siege this mid lane tower. And under 20 minutes into the game, secure a gold lead worth nearly 6,000.
Resourcen with the big outplay in that top lane. Nick the Panda, he underestimated the fact that even though Jace builds armor, he still has a lot of damage. He does have that Ghost Blade finished, and it is still 19th minute. Plus, he has a 3 level advantage over him. Those base stats add up a lot. And right now, Caeli, they're sitting with their tail between their legs. They just have to try to run away, as this Rift Herald isn't being started by Tejn just yet, and it is likely just going to expire.
And they will be setting up the vision for the big prize. They're waiting for the Baron. So far, Hunike, even though he has Triforce, the itemization from Resourcen, how much armor that guy has, makes it nearly impossible for Hunike to do anything. He's got 121 armor. How are you meant to... Oh, Holberg now in that river. I will have to interrupt myself. Hunike dashing in the backline, picks up the shadow onto Heckless. Now the Vanguard chases his opponent, Rose in the middle of everyone. That's a double kill for Hunike as the Baron is about to spawn. The Predator is spawned by Lazy Panda. However, Caeli, they cannot look for more as Holberg is dropped very, very low thanks to that accelerated choke blast.
Caeli managed to pull back at least something. They shrink that gold lead to just 5,000, but it's still something. They catch Tejn out, and this can be a way that they can look to come back into this game with. They have the lockdown in the form of Lissandra, Cassiopeia, as well as Irelia. If they keep on doing this, they can progressively shrink the gold lead, and in the late game, we haven't touched on this just yet, but the composition of Caeli is so much better at just back-to-back team fighting, and so Caeli, if they just keep on finding these miracle picks, they can look to just stall and stall and then win the late game team fights against Tejn.
Not only the late game teamfights, even though they are insane with that Cassiopeia, of course, the 6-item nightmare if you are in the other team, but also Hunike on the side lane. Irelia is just gonna get stronger and stronger and stronger. And Resourcen, yes, he can build armor, but at one point you have to build damage. And this Irelia, once she hits her 3rd item, then Hunike is gonna be able to do wonders on the champion.
Oh yeah, he has 4 kills. That is already a terrifying Irelia to be facing. He managed to pretty much solo delete Hekatos. Not even managing to utilize his heal, but I mean, he still managed to get that kill, so that is definitely something to be terrified of now. A lot of fights for the vision in the top side of River. Both teams, they want to know whether that Baron buff is getting started or not. If they don't, well, it's going to be really easy for both these teams to just slaughter it. You have Lucian together with Orianna, holding my breath here.
Tejn are grouping mid lane, Cataclysm popped from Yelper, and Goran just jumps away. The shockwave we flashed away from as the Holberg pops the glacial path. Now Lazy Panda, that's flying. He has to flash away. That is a lot of damage. Hunike with the Vanguard, can he find the flag? He finds the stars with that flawless duet. Hekatos picks up the first kill to find out, but he will be immediately traded by Hunike. That bagger, he's just wreaking havoc and will survive over time. They still have a lot of life in them. Holberg and bagger, it's a double kill for Hekatos, and in the end, Tejn win the fight 4-4-2.
Tejn managed to run away with that fight. They're going to be able to push into this inhibitor turret. Not many creeps to help them out, however. They are going to have to fall back, but Caeli, once again, with another team fight they initiated. It looked like Lazy Panda was just inting, however, Hunike was teleporting in from behind him. They were able to run into the team of Tejn. However, the problem is, Tejn, they're still really fed. They have a lot of damage, and so in the end, they're able to run away with that team fight just because Caeli did not have enough damage to finish those 100 HP bars off.
It was such a crazy fight. However, you mentioned it, Hekatos coin, they still have so much damage, and even though Hunike, now he's got a double item Irelia 600, the Titanic Hydra has just been completed, and Caeli have the means to find the fight. Tejn, they can still get it, and that is exactly what we have seen. The Cloud Trick now seems to be the next objective. Likely that neither of the team will want to give it up for free, but I don't think any of them will risk too much over this objective.
Right now, both these teams sitting in that bottom side river. Rose just teetering around it. Ilperin can of course jump in at any time. It is given away to Caeli, however, as that Frozen Claw is just thrown over at the side of Tejn, and they're like, nah, we're way too scared of this man. Screw that noise, and they just run away into that mid lane to try to push it. And Caeli, they are slow on the rotation. This is very bad for them. They're going to lose this inhibitor turret and possibly the inhibitor as well.
Yeah, the minion wave will make it very easy for Tejn to just siege down that objective. Look how fast it is dropping. Tejn with the rotation, they break open the base. However, Huniko not selling. That's a double shockwave! And this is the combo that you want from Tejn. A double kill for Coin. Holberg goes golden, but there's nothing you can do. Nick the Panda trying to kite back, and he gets out of his life, but that's 3 kills for Tejn, and they will get the inhibitor.
And we were waiting for that wombo combo to shine through from Tejn. They are able to find the perfect setup. That big shockwave, of course, just shredding the health bars of SRG Caeli. One Nexus turret down, second one, Nick the Panda and Lazy Panda trying to survive right now.
Yeah,
course, well.
the Nexus is exposed. Time they are just trying to rack up their KDAs, pick up those kills, but one great fight will be all that Tejn need to take the game 1 in the semi-final.
Ooh, and very decisive victory for Tejn, I have to say. Even though Caeli, they played to their win conditions relatively well, the problem was that they were just losing out on fights at every single point in time and every point on the map. So as soon as Hekatos got fed, as soon as Coin got that farm, as soon as he was able to group up with his team and got Yelperen and Rose to jump into the enemy back line and just shred their health bars with one single shockwave, it was over for Caeli. Unike, he tried his best, he really could, but he wasn't the little fish. So in the end, a quick victory for Tejn, and let's just hope that Caeli can come back into the series with something perhaps different, or with Nick the Panda not inting as much.
Definitely. So guys, grab some snacks and refill your water bottles and things. I know that I will have to definitely do that, and we will see you after the short break for the game 2.
The night beckons while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, and fate may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking right at your door. So are you restless? Each night you hear the drums roar. Awaken, awaken, the voice begins to call you while you hunger. A taste of destiny you're searching for. Awaken.
Welcome back after the break. That was a very quick game one from Tejn, I have to say. And we are going to be moving into the game 2 in just a couple of minutes, but maybe we should talk about how Tejn were able to do it. And the big thing that I'm looking at is that mid lane priority.
I mean, so Coing wasn't necessarily the biggest catalyst for Tejn in that victory. No, I meant to say win and then a victory, and it was a victory. But I mean, he wasn't the biggest catalyst, of course. He wasn't the main source of winning, god damn it. He wasn't the main source of damage for Tejn. Of course, it was at the late fight that he just shredded everyone's health path just with one good shockwave. But before that, he didn't necessarily get too many advantages. He was just able to out-farm Holberg a bit. However, it was simply a bit of a sleeper situation in that mid lane. No, what happened instead was Hekatos and Yelpere, they got ahead and they were able to carry. The problem with that is, it wasn't necessarily of their own doing. It was mostly Lazy Panda and then also Negative Panda running into them and just slowly giving them kill after kill after kill and just generously feeding them this nice little soup made of panda meat. So, I mean, there wasn't much that Tejn did to deserve this victory, but after that, they were able to do that, do their standard macro, run around the map, secure objectives pretty flawlessly, and so let's just hope that Caeli can survive this one without inting.
Definitely, because, I mean, if you watch last game, it is really a feels bad man for Caeli, especially for Hunike. This guy was 6, and I think he died at the end, so 6-1 at the end of the game. On an Irelia, he got a solo kill in the top lane, and he was just so damn strong. In the end, it was not enough because Coing or Yana, you know, stuff like that, it happens, and yeah, I want to see the adaptations in the draft from both of these teams to see, well, what they decide to ban out, what do they decide to pick, how do they shake this draft up, do they maybe go for something else, will we see Coing back on those assassins, and will Caeli actually take the first game of Tejn?
So I don't think right now that Caeli perhaps have to change up their draft too much. Perhaps they can offer a ban over to the side of Orianna, and perhaps even Jace. I mean, he wasn't the biggest annoyance for Caeli, but still, he was pretty strong in that top lane. So I think that they can kind of remain with the bans that they had. Of course, they can also alter them. They are going to be on that blue side, so they are going to have the ability to first pick, which means that they can get something really high priority for that top lane. However, also for that bot lane, I am expecting them to perhaps once again put a focus down into that bot. Just lock yourself a Braum, or perhaps take Lucian away from Hekatos. That way they aren't going to be able to snowball that way, and just try to limit Tejn at least a tiny bit in their champion pool.
And now, taking a look at the bans, the first two are the same. Now, Caeli, they are thinking about the Sejuani, and they will take it off the table. Rose last game, he had a lot of impact when it came to those team fights and ganks, so I'm not really that surprised to see it taken off.
Yeah, of course, right now, very similar bans. Tejn pretty much just doing the perfect mirror of what they did last time on blue side, this time around on the red side, and the same thing from Caeli. I said that they don't have to necessarily alter their style of draft too much, it's just about the individual players not dying too much. However, Caeli, they're once again hovering that Jarvan. It's been such a highly contested pick for very good reasons, because it offers a lot of damage as well as engage, and we have actually seen it be played more on the support role than anywhere else in the past few weeks. So really exciting to see where it is going to go. Likely going to be playing into the Morgana and the Vladimir.
Those picks are so strong for Tejn. Yelper's Morgana is very good. I'm gonna put it like that, because
Yes.
I'm gonna save myself with the adjectives for later. But his black shields are on point, his bindings are on point, and then throw a Vladimir, a champion that is also very
On
powerful
point?
in this meta. No, I'm not going to repeat myself, but it's very powerful in this meta, and Tejn, they just got two power picks, absolute power picks. But Caeli, they locked in themselves the Aurelia, and they had success last game, so they get good champions for themselves.
And right now, this Vladimir, he could be going either into the mid lane or the top lane, as well as he can technically possibly be swapped over to an AD carry position. However, he is going to be playing into an Aurelia, and Vladimir isn't necessarily the guy that you technically want to snowball with, only with some jungle pressure. So once again, it would open up a window of opportunity for Unique to try to snowball and run away with the lead. He tried to do so in the first game, however, in the end he was unable because, well, one botched teamfight was all that Tejn needed, and right now, drafts are very similar. Of course, Jarvan not going to be playing in that support position, instead likely going to be in the jungle, technically can be flexed over to that top lane as well, and Braum will be instead once again taking his place.
Yeah, Braum for Caeli, I believe that Godfrey, right? Gorange, oh my god.
It's
Anyways.
almost the same, almost.
No, it's not. Anyways, Gorange had a pretty decent game last time. He was able to just do the Braum things, but I feel like the fact that Tejn were team fight, they had superior team fighting in terms of how ahead they were, not necessarily in terms of champion. It just meant that he couldn't really contribute to a lot. So Caeli going for the standard, Tejn also the Lucian, which worked well for them. And if you take a look at the bans, Tejn, they are just removing the hyper carries. They do not want to give Caeli the ability to Scaly, and then then Caeli, they just get rid of the early game junglers, but Zac will be the lock-in.
Ooh, so I was thinking that Caeli, well, we're likely thinking, okay, we don't necessarily want anything in the jungle that can kill this Jarvan. Okay, Nico being Howard regardless. So Tejn, they sort of swayed the expectations to the other side, and they go with the Zac pick. This is really interesting because right now he doesn't necessarily have a strong lane to play around. Of course, he can play around the Morgana and Lucian really well. However, he will be always jumping into a Braum. Now, Nico has been locked in. She has been hotfixed, ladies and gentlemen, so we are not going to be likely seeing her played in that AD carry position, and this leaves the AD carry role open. So what are Caeli going to pick? Is it going to be a hyper carry, or is it once again going to be something like that Cassiopeia? I feel like if they have any cheesy pick ready and in wait, it has to be now. But it looks like it's gonna be Nico AP carry. If it's AD carry, I'm gonna likely shoot myself, because Jesus Christ, it doesn't work anymore. Okay.
Let's go Z for coin. We've got
that's
our...
the Zac.
Yeah.
That's why they picked the Zac, because now they can play around the mid lane. Zac, he loves sitting on that lane because he has so many places where he can jump from. He can explore the world, flying all over the place, and into this poor Orianna, who is going to be forced to take cleanse. And even then, it's not going to help her, because most of the CC that Zac provides is a knock-up. So it's going to be so difficult for Holberg, really, to even try to survive this laning phase. And if he does, I will applaud him, because Jesus Christ, this is a difficult time for him.
This is so scary to
You got that? You got that? You got
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Oh my, I honestly, I don't want to be where Holberg is right now. Playing against Coing Zed with a Zac on an Orianna, that just sounds like a nightmare. Unless they want to flex Orianna bot lane, put Nico, but I don't think the story is much different. Apart from the fact that you can, I mean, you technically could run away, but are you going to?
You can perhaps, I mean, you can technically take on a mask of some happy champion and just hide away the depression if you're on mid lane with that, but regardless, it's not going to help them too much, a quick little flex like that. I have technically seen Orianna being played with attack speed. It kind of works, but I don't think that's going to be the main focus point of Caeli. They're still going to have to keep Holberg relatively healthy in that mid lane, because if you get Coing ahead on the Zed, it's a game over. Okay, last time around he was playing that Orianna, and we said that it's an extraordinary pick for him because he doesn't play stuff like that. Now we see him in his natural habitat, we see him on a comfort pick, an assassin, and together with a jungler that can help him get ahead. This time around we are seeing Tejn back in their regular form. We are seeing Coing that is going to try to carry his team to victory, and Caeli, they're going to have to show us how much they prepared for today's games and how much they can be ready to take on this powerful assassin.
The thing is, it's not only Coin that can snowball. Literally any other lane from Tejn. If they get a...
It's the narrative, okay?
It is. Let me build it, right?
Okay, sure.
Just because I divert doesn't mean I divert from the narrative. And
I mean, you're a wild card, okay?
Yes, I am a wild card. I will throw in the King's Legacy Dynasty.
No, okay.
No, okay. Coming back to my point though. Tejn, they could also Vladimir Lucian and the Morgana as well for the bot lane, for the aggressive bot lane that will just have so much damage. And even if Caeli commit resources to try and inhibit Coin, because I don't think you can really stop him that easily. You can inhibit him. The other lanes just take over at this point. It is as simple as that. Tejn have so much power, early game power in their composition, something that we wanted them to see. Not necessarily early game champions, but the ability to find those needs in the early game and to snowball them into something more meaningful is insane.
And once again, Caeli, they sort of have a similar situation to the last time around, where they just want to survive on every single lane outside of top lane. They want to get Unique ahead, but they're going to have to do a lot more than last time around. The good interaction with Aurelia is that, remember, she has the flawless duet, she does have the stun, so if Zed gets really fed, a fed Aurelia is going to be able to shut him down. And Zed in the mid game transforms into that side lane bully. So Caeli, they need Unique to get ahead. If he doesn't get sufficiently far enough from the lineup of Tejn, he's not going to be able to do anything around this map. So Caeli, they rely on getting the Jarvan to work in tandem with Unique. If it doesn't work out, it's a quick GG, and they also have to rely on not inting. Lazy Panda and Nick the Panda, I know that you are pandas, I know that those animals are kind of slow, but please, do not run into this composition of Tejn.
You don't want to do that. I think that is as simple as you have put it. And you know, Unique is the big person that you said we want to see ahead. I mean, I said that multiple times and he was able to deliver last game. This time though, he's playing into a Vladimir, a champion that is much more, I would say, dominant in the game overall than something like a Jace. And how would we really expect that matchup to go? Will Unique struggle a lot, and where can he really abuse it?
I actually think that Aurelia into a Vladimir is a pretty good matchup for Aurelia. So last time around, I was expecting it to go sideways for Unique, and he managed to turn this around. This time around, I am expecting him to get ahead. Hopefully that's not going to be the caster curse, and hopefully he actually manages to do something in that top lane. He should be able to press his advantages simply because he has a lot more burst damage in the early game rather than Vladimir. Vladimir, he is a champion that doesn't necessarily want to create a lot of burst in the early game. He can do that in the mid to late game. However, until then, he is going to get out damaged by Aurelia at around level 3 or so. He's always going to rely on poking. However, he can get Rose into that lane to help him out a bit, but even if it results into a 2v2, Caeli are going to have the upper hand, so Lazy Panda definitely wants to play around this top side of the map a lot.
He does, and you mentioned Rose ganking top lane. He's playing as Zac, a champion that loves to gank lanes, and if he doesn't gank lanes, then he doesn't do a lot. You really have to wait then for that late game to be very much useful. And when I'm looking at the lanes of Caeli, potentially most of them can be ganked with you know, maybe some difficulties, but where does Rose want to focus if not mid lane? Because I know the answer is mid lane. It's obvious.
Mid lane.
Mid lane. Okay, apart from mid lane. No, nowhere else. Okay, Rose is just gonna come
just
mid
lane. Okay. Okay. No, but to answer it properly, he can go over to that bot lane. He will have a lot of setup in that Yelperens Morgana. You mentioned that his Q is essentially a binding missile, like it just is homing towards whoever he wants to hit, so they can try to work with that in the sense that they know that it's going to hit and they know that they're going to have a guaranteed setup. So given that Braum and Nico don't necessarily have too many ways of running away from the setup that Morgana can show them, well, it is a possibility of Zac to just jump in there, get them back away from that turret, and Lucian is really phenomenal at that early game damage, so he can just burst them down immediately. So Rose either playing around the bot lane or more famously around the mid.
Right, and now looking maybe for Caeli, because we are painting them in a pretty tough spot. We are saying that Hunike is pretty much their only hope. However, I like this composition when it comes to teamfight. The later this game goes, the more AoE you have. And obviously then you have to factor in this stuff like Vladimir hitting some items, Rose being hyper tank. However, how do you feel, I mean, what do you feel are the Caeli's chances the longer this game goes? Let's say in a 5 versus 5 scenario.
Oh, they definitely outscale. As you said it, they outscale. Yeah, just shut up. They become a really terrifying teamfighting comp simply because they have a lot of consistent damage in the form of Orianna as well as Nico. A lot of AoE damage, and they also have a really strong side laner in the form of Aurelia. The longer this game goes on for, the longer they are going to get to scale up. Yes, I'm saying it again. And that much is going to be it easier for them to actually try to do something. In a pure 5v5, they should be able to win because they have so many of these wombo combos. But it is once again all about Caeli surviving the laning phase, something that they were unable to do last time around with someone like Lazy Panda or Nick the Panda just running into the enemy's entire team. So my eyes are on them, and Lazy Panda's pathing has to be a lot more crisp because it has been so aggressive and so nonchalant. He was running over control wards, and when he knew that there were enemies nearby, so, well, he has to be a bit more careful and a bit safer this time around.
Definitely, as we are loading into Summoner's Rift, so let us know in the chat, who do you think is gonna take the game? Will Tejn continue their undefeated streak straight into the finals, or will Caeli stop them in their tracks and force a game 3? Let us know. And Karim, you said you don't want to see an AD Nico. Well, Nick the Panda probably didn't hear you. He has got that press the attack.
I hate him. I hate him so much right now. No. So Nick the Panda, he is going for the AD carry attack speed build on Nico. It has been hotfixed, and now the attack speed ratio that Nico gets is actually minimal. She doesn't get almost anything, so it's going to be really difficult for him to gain any sort of damage come mid-game, which is what Caeli wants to play for. It doesn't precisely make sense, but we're going to see how it works out. Perhaps the news haven't been delivered to him on that day when the hotfix came through, or perhaps he's a genius, and perhaps he thinks, okay, I know how to make this work, and maybe he can show us that he's a 200 IQ better analyst than me. I don't know.
I mean, it could happen, you know, anything is possible. And Tejn, they went for their typical Tejn engage, but look at Lazy Panda and Hunike. Resortsen is gonna come up. They will spot each other. Lazy Panda pops down the Demacian standard, and I'm not sure if he still wants to go for that rep up. Looks like he's sticking around.
I mean, Koing is actually getting harassed by Holberg right now, so he's unable to go and help with that red buff. However, Rose will know that this is happening. It is going to set up this sort of vertical jungling. I am expecting perhaps Lazy Panda to say no to that and run over to bot lane, and instead make sure that Rosie doesn't get those camps. Now Hunike getting a good flawless duet in.
However, the trade might not be that great. The Crimson Rush passive from Resources. Is that Hunike?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he doesn't get the best of the trades possible as, well, Nick the Panda, I just realized the nickname is also changed. This is going to be so confusing with this Nico. And we're gonna have to see what Nick the Panda can really do. Rose, Lazy Panda, they will spot each other. Oh, the elastic slingshot interrupted by the flag and drag. Rose will have to burn his flash over the wall. Good play here from Lazy Panda.
I'm just like so confused. Do the nicknames actually change when Nico changes form?
Yes, they
okay,
do.
that is good luck in casting any single teammate. Regardless, to elaborate a bit on what happened, Lazy Panda pretty much perfectly got the timing down so that Rose couldn't jump away, and now Rose is without a flash, which isn't the worst of scenarios for Zac. However, it does disallow him from doing something cheesy like jumping in a certain direction and then redirecting himself to surprise the enemy. And so right now, he's not going to be the saddest blob, but he's going to be, you know, a mixed neutral bag of emotions kind of blob.
Alright, taking a look at the mid lane. Actually, Hunike getting a nice trade onto Resource in this top lane. But coming back to the mid lane point that I wanted to bring up. Holberg is pushing in Coin, which is to be expected. Orianna versus Zed, you will push that in. However, once Coin hits that death mark, Holberg, he will need to play this lane so well in order to avoid dying. Because, you know, you don't want to be playing that if you are Orianna into Zed.
And so far, Holberg has actually been really capable at showing us that he can dodge all of these shurikens top lane.
Yeah, Hunike dashing for he gets the first blood once again. That was some beautiful auto attack cancelling.
Ooh, Hunike once again showing himself as the more dominant top laner in this matchup. Once again, trying to get those leads himself. He knows that he's in the superior matchup this time around, and so the first blood comes through even quicker than it was last time around. And right now, there is no int happening from the side of Caeli to give Tejn that comeback way. And so, Caeli, they run away with the first blood uncontested.
However, that is exactly what we have seen last game.
Coin.
Tejn were looking for the return king. Coin was so close to getting Holberg. Now that Orianna is out of mana, probably will have to recall anytime soon. And if Caeli can avoid a return kill going for Tejn, then this is already an improvement from last game.
And this is the most terrifying thing, because whenever you see Zed being behind Holberg, he cannot run away. He always has to flash, and he does have the barrier. So I feel like perhaps I would have chosen Exhaust, but regardless, it's going to help him survive against that burst that Coin is definitely going to be able to do on him. Of course, now Holberg pushing out the wave, not going back just yet.
Hunike and Resource in trading blows in the top lane. Now this Irelia is in a lot of trouble. 100 HP and dropping Resource, and nearly has got the Crimson Rush. You have to watch out for that Empowered Transfusion, but Hunike just sitting under his own turret will be able to regen up thanks to that Corrupting Potion. Still looking for opportunities. He's taking a lot of damage from Resource right now.
He is baiting Resource so hard. However, he doesn't have Lazy Panda nearby, so nothing that can come from that just yet. Of course, Hunike did start with that Negatron Cloak, so he is going to be able to survive this poke that Vladimir is going to have over him. He still has a lot of base damage. Of course, top lane once again.
Hunike is playing with my feelings. He's dropping so low just when Resource has got that passive up. One good for Transfusion, and Hunike is dead. But it doesn't matter, he will be able to complete the recall. He's got the TP to go back into this lane. Now, Lazy Panda looking for opportunities in the bot lane. The Black Shield has been already expended, and now Yelper flashes out. Good use of that Summoner. However, he's still rooted up. He's gonna get stand up. The Ignite is taking him. Goran dropping low. He gets the kill. Hegeros unable to trade back. However, Goran's Lazy Panda bought a low flash forward from that Lucian. The Piercing Light does not not find its mark. Rose has drawn the fight, his stretching strikes, pulled back, lazy. I mean, Nick the Panda. However, Hekatos himself is gonna die in the mid lane. Holberg also has to flash, and the barrier, and Koing does not get the kill. And Tejn this time, they're so close, but Caeli come out on top.
And Caeli get the perfect fight in the bot lane this time around. Tejn, they cannot do anything. Hekatos did not have the range to try to follow up. He couldn't get the health bars to 0. Yeah, that's how you kill someone. I know that it's killing the hype, but regardless. And now, Caeli already seeming so much different, so much more dominant. Lazy Panda not inting. That's the biggest reason. He's got a good couple of ganks off, and he's showing us that if he gets the pathing right, he can be this important cog in the machine of Caeli.
And he's also playing a Jarvan, a champion that just becomes so much better once he hit level 6. He managed to get 2 good ganks, wait, sorry, 1 good gank, 2 assists in that bowling already.
Oh yeah,
we are 7 minutes in the game. And once he hits his ultimate, he has his map open. Okay, maybe you don't want to gank Koing, because it's hard to gank his head, but any other lane, he can go to.
And right now, Holberg, he is sitting in that mid lane. He was forced to flash and use the barrier a couple of minutes ago. Of course, as that, well, quick engage happened from side of Koing. Rose now, topside jungle, has to jump away as Lazy Panda tries to find something. But all things return to a status quo. And Nick the Panda, he's building attack speed. Okay, maybe. I'm not gonna elaborate on that. Just maybe. If he gets really fed and carries the game, I don't know what I'll do. Against, probably just applaud him. But now in the top lane, Lazy Panda
does find a knockup with the flag and drag the Vanguard Search. Popping down as well, good sanguine pull from Resourcen. Cataclysm is now hit for Lazy Panda, however he does not seem to want to overcommit as Gorange takes a lot of damage whilst contesting vision in the bottom side. So far not too much happening apart from that trade up top lane.
A good pull there happening from the side of Vladimir, making sure that he can run away uncontested now. The poor red buff is just getting swayed around, and Rose has to wait for it to be reset. Of course, Lazy Panda has to run away. Koing has the priority.
Panda is gonna get rooted by the binding. He pops the pop blossom, and now mid lane Holberg uses the shockwave. The barrier is not available. Will the death smart be enough? No, it won't. Koing unable to get the kill. Both of the mid laners very low in HP, and here comes Lazy Panda. Good flash from Koing. Flash forward. Can he get the last drag? Yes, he can. That is the 4th kill for Caeli. Hunike looking for a trade in the top lane. Stands resourcing with that flawless duet. He uses the Tides of Blood. He will have that heal available to him very, very shortly, and Caeli, they just get another kill.
Caeli, they are coming up huge in every single lane so far. 4-0 right now at 9 minutes. Pretty much perfect gank once again from Lazy Panda. He looks so different when he has a jungler that can gank these lanes. Just put him on something that can get to these lanes and manage to get a good gank off. Hunike once again just trading in that top lane, doing what he's supposed to. Well, given that it's Zoe AD carry, you know, building attack speed, there isn't much that you can do to snowball with that just yet in the bot lane. However, Caeli, they're looking like a completely different team right now.
They are. The turnaround from game 1 is absolutely huge. Hunike is still finding the leads in the top lane, but the rest of the map is not dying. Koing is so far unable to find a kill lead. Yes, he's got a lot of CS ahead, and now he's actually able to roam, so you really gotta watch out for his roams.
Oh yeah, Koing, he hasn't got a kill just yet. Instead, he got shut down, but he does have that serrated dirk as well as that Warhammer. So now he is coming from behind. There is a very big potential for a dive there. Gorange, he does have the Glacial Fissure.
Oh, Koing jumping forward, he just deletes half of Nick the Panda's HP. That was a lot of damage from the Z. However, Koing doesn't commit to that tower dive. You've got the both Glacial Fissure and the Pop Blossom, so a lot of AoE and any dive for Tejn will be risky.
And they don't know that Rose is here, in fact. They do not have any sort of deep vision that they had last time around, so this Zac can just jump at you from anywhere on the map. Now, Mountain Drake is being started right now by the side of Tejn. In the meantime, big wave in the top lane for Hunike. Well, things are returning to once again a status quo. And so far, Caeli, they do have a 2,000 gold lead. They haven't been able to find any big objectives just yet. Now, maybe looking to contest it. Nah, Mountain Drake is slain. No contestation there.
Yeah, my heart just stopped for a second when I saw the clone of Nick the Panda get point blank wounded. I was like, wait, what is he doing there? But then I realized it is just the clone. And, well, Tejn, they get themselves the Mountain Drake, as you have said. The Herald is on the map, but overall, Caeli, 2,000 goldie, that is a lot. Now, in that mid lane, the Death Mark coming out, Flash and Shockwave from Holberg does not find his mark, and there they stretching strikes the barrier. Won't do enough as Rose gets the first kill for Tejn.
And well, Holberg, he misstepped there and it cost him his life. In the end, one more kill. However, it isn't in the pockets of Coing. So pretty much the best outcome that could have happened there from Holberg, outside of just surviving. Coing is, however, able to take all of these gold turret plates, so he's still going to be one happy feller. Let me tell you that much, as CS leads, they're starting to take their toll on the side of Caeli. About 20 in the bot lane, but 3, well, in the top lane. And in the mid lane, of course, Holberg not having the best time as well.
And I think it's time for Gangster. Top lane already. Hero Plague is going to drop Hunike. Very low resource, and he's very low on HP. But Hunike, with the one last auto attack, able to secure his second kill on the Aurelia.
That looked so scary. Hemoplague almost looking like it was going to just take the two champions down, of course, unable to do so in the end, and Hunike once again runaways with a quick kill. He finished up the Wit's End as his first item, which is interesting to me, paying a lot of respect to Resourcing right now. Rift Herald is started up by Caeli, and at this point, they can try to get these map objectives. They can look to extend their gold lead, because they actually now have something to play around, not just these kills.
Look at the ball lane fight. The Glacial Virgil coming out to set the Pomos from Haken is trying to flash away. But Nick the Panda gets the first kill of the fight. Yelper, and he's got the flash. However, he won't use it. That's a double kill for Nick the Panda's Nico.
So many huge map plays right now from Caeli. They're just getting everything that they want. They're going to be able to chunk this turret for its plate so hard. Lazy Panda top lane.
He's looking for another gank. Cataclysm not available. Resourcing does not have the Hemoplague, does not have the flash. He's got the heal from the transfusion. Will be enough to get him to safety. I love what Caeli are doing right now. The proactiveness from this team, looking for plays, and they are ahead. 2,000 gold at 13 minutes.
It feels like Caeli are just rejuvenated compared to the last game, going in the mid lane. Pop the Ghost Blade.
You always have to watch that, man. He's so aggressive and able to find the kill. Deathmark is available to him. And Holberg doesn't have the stopwatch now. Will it be enough damage? It does not seem so. Coin just pops the ultimate for nothing, as Herald in the top lane will take a lot of plates. Caeli are trying to accelerate the game. However, here comes Rose with the last extinction, and Coin this time gets the kill.
And Holberg overextends now in the bot lane. However, Yelperin gets a good binding down.
Yeah, the fighting goes on. Neither of these teams really have the means with which to overcome, and the ultimates for Nick the Panda, Gorange and Yelperin are unavailable. So this will just result in no kills going to either of those teams.
And no kills just yet. However, Coing manages to pick up one top lane.
Oh, Hunike! He nearly gets the kill to Resource, and great Sanguine Pool in time to get away to safety. But the first tower is still secured for Coing. So even when Tejn are in ahead, Coing is still the guy that tries to keep them alive. Though, you cannot discount the Rose's part in it.
Yeah, Caeli are definitely ahead. However, Tejn, they're running away with the objectives. Resource in top lane once again.
Oh, Hunike gets a beautiful stun, and another nice dodge with that Sanguine Pool. This matchup just keeps delivering. Hunike going for those plays, but now Rose is sitting in that brush, and if Hunike isn't careful, he can find himself in a lot of trouble. Looks like he will just respect the potential to gang, and man, if that's the first semi-final, then what is to come?
Ooh, well, a lot of hype games over here that are going to be played on this LAN in Randers, of course. The winner right now moves straight into the finals. This is, of course, the first one that is going to be playing in the finals for Division 2, and right now, Lyra are battling for that second game victory. They want to get back into the series. Of course, Holberg may get caught out here for a bit.
Yelperin looking for the binding. He just pops the Black Shield and doesn't quite find the angle to go in there. So far we are just 15 minutes in the game. Now Coin looking for more opportunities in the middle lane. Lazy Panda coming over the wall. The network has been utilized. The Shockwave as well. And Coin overextended, but he gets a kill back onto Holberg with that Ignite.
And Coing, he gets the kill, but he is shot down. However, that may not matter that much because he now is sitting on 2 kills. He's going to be able to get another serrated dirk together with 2 long swords, and this Zed is going to start being terrifying. He does have the, what's it called? The Mercury charts, yes, and now he's going to get shut down for just a bit less. Of course, Mountain Drake spawned up. Caeli, they are heading towards it in the top lane. In the meantime, Hunike keeping the status quo up and ready against Resourcen. Resourcen actually not losing out on too many creeps right now, even though Hunike has 2 kills and has been able to just dominate him in these one-on-one fights.
Definitely, and having those items on your Vladimir is going to be crucial because Resourcen is going to be one of the... Okay, he's going to be the main teamfight damage source for Tejn once they get later on into the game, and if you can get sufficient items, then you are going to be in a pretty good spot, especially against the team of Caeli. You need to have some response, so I am happy to see that as a bit of a swap coming through now.
Oh my god, I love this. I love this so much from Tejn because Hunike, look at his itemization. He has Wit's End and Mercury Treads. So what do Tejn do? Well,
put the AD.
Yeah, they just put him onto an 80, and now they move Orianna into that top lane. And Aurelia, she has a lot of escapes from the top, but Orianna doesn't. It's such a long lane that if you put Rosa into it, there is no way that Holberg can survive it. And so a really nice rotation there from Tejn.
Well, we'll see if they can utilize that. Now, Rose sitting in that ball lane will be looking for a gank there. Not quite that focused in the top lane, but I do agree with you. It has the potential to be explosive and turn this game into Tejn's favor because, well, it isn't something they're completely used to. Rose now charging up the elastic slingshot, misses the knockup onto the Panda, is gonna get tagged by that Wintersplit. The Black Shield already expanded, and look at Lazy Panda, he's on that flank. Can he find the mechanics and finds the flag and drag onto Hekatos? It just looked up with all of that CC. Yelpren goes gold, and the Soul Shackles finding only a stand onto Gorange. Let's bounce, brings back Lazy Panda, and now Yelpren taken down by that Nico AD carry. Rosie trying to run away is gonna get popped back into that cell division. Tejn in the meantime pick up the second tower, and now Resourcen and Coin, they are rotating up or down, I should say, but Nick the Panda picks up the double kill, and Caeli get the fight.
Such a great flank from Lazy Panda once again. This man on this Jarvan is insane. That definitely has to be the go-to ban for Tejn if we move into that third game. Of course, you mentioned that the tier 2 turret is taken in the mid lane, which opens up the map a lot more for Tejn, but 3k gold behind. Sure, they have a Illusion with a really healthy farm, and they have the Zed with 2 kills, but that perhaps may not be enough. We saw Coin jumping in onto Holberg, and he was shut down. He doesn't have that much damage to just burst someone out straight out. Right now, Resourcen.
Look at the jungle fight. Lazy Panda takes the blast over the wall. The human plague is still taking him down. Not enough damage to find the kill now. Hunike in a lot of trouble. Vanguard's Edge is available. Will use it to slow down members of Tejn. Flashes away, but the death mark is still taking him down, and the shutdown will be fine as the ignite is enough. Now Gorange has to burn the flash as well, and Tejn managed to get themselves some gold into their pockets.
And Caeli, they get these leads, they get these advantages, but it's not as clean as Tejn's. They're just unable to just back. They should have had reset there. Instead, they get caught out, and they give these kills, or well, 1 kill, over into the pockets of Tejn, evening out the score by a bit. Now, on objectives, Tejn are still winning, even in the Mountain Drakes. However, they do have the 2 turrets down in that mid lane. So right now, Caeli, they are going to have the advantage moving into that mid game because they're going to be able to hit their power spike sooner with all of this extra gold, but they have to stop giving these leads away to Tejn if they want to progress into that late game safely.
Talking about power spike, Coin has got 2 lethality items. He's going to deal a lot of damage. That's just the simplest way in which you put it.
Is anyone he really going to?
Yes, he is going to kill some people. As now Lazy Panda, he was fishing for some opportunities. The Baron has spawned, so this will be the main objective around which the teams want to play.
Yeah, all of that vision right now in the hands of Tejn around this objective. Caeli, they're unable to really get into it and contest it because they have to defend this top lane turret. Nick the Panda and Gorange doing their best. Now Yelperen and Coing, they are sitting in that brush. If Nick the Panda overextends here, Gorange is away.
Oh,
he's not anymore.
Oh, there is the Living Shadow. The Pop Blossom has been utilized, however, the Death Mark should be enough to get the kill. There it is, the 850 gold Shadow. Now Gorange is left to die. 1 versus 4. Who's gonna get the kill? It will be Rose.
And Tejn, they come once again back into this game with an ingenious plan. They just pull off a quick cheese and that's all they need. Now the gold lead is even. They take another turret in the top lane. And Caeli, they are unable to respond to anything. They don't have these lanes pushing Vladimir in the mid lane, shutting anything down. After pushing the wave in the bot lane, and Caeli, they once again lose out on a cross map trade.
And you know, we talked a lot about Hunike and his Irelia and how important it's going to be. However, he still doesn't have the Triforce, and only then he's going to be that very strong.
A champion,
yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, that's champion. He doesn't really do a lot. And Tejn, they are finding those plays. They close the gold gap. It is now even. The Baron is alive. The Vladimir is sitting more items. The Lucian Hecatus is sitting on nearly 2. And Coin is working towards his 3rd lethality item. As look at how he shreds the Lazy Panda. The blast coming over the wall should get him to safety. As Coin doesn't have the flash nor the Living Shadow. But you have to be so careful about all the vision gaps, because Tejn, they will abuse them.
They will definitely abuse them, especially that they have someone like that Zeg who can utilize them very effectively. In the meantime, however, top lane turret is taken, so something is going the good way for Caeli, of course. Hunike once again in the side lane. You mentioned that he becomes a champion as soon as he gets that Trinity Force. Well, he has it. He can start doing something. The problem is he's going to be facing Coin, who is really fed. He does have the 2 lethality.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
Hunike. You don't survive that. Coin gets a rampage kill, and now that is the top laner for Caeli, dead for another 33 seconds.
I feel like I have to stop talking about that, because whenever I mention it, he just dies immediately. What a poor soul. I mean, that's pretty much what we expected. If you have this fat Zed and no armor on this Irelia, again, she has just magic resist, no armor, and so he was just shredded immediately, and it just opens up the side lane a lot.
Holberg, that's a huge okay for Timo Plague. Will be responded to. Hecatus knocked out by the Glacial Fissure, has to flash away. Lazy not a flag, looking for resources. However, not quite able to get the kill. Rosie also flies into the team fight, and a lot of cooldowns expanded, but no one in the end finds anything. Lazy and resources still juking it out in that jungle as Coin just picks up the top lane tower, and Tejn, they are benefiting from this lack of action.
Yeah, well, Tejn, they're just fighting. They keep the lineup of Caeli in that bot lane, not allowing them to back. And in the meantime, Coin is able to run over, saying that he's going to just take that top lane turret, tier 2. Once again, no contestation from Caeli, and they're going to have such a big disadvantage in going for that vision right now. Coin is just waiting in the fog of war. But now,
well, look at Lazy Panda, he flashes over the wall. The Death Mark will be enough to get the kill, and there it is. Another shutdown picked up by the Zed.
And right now, Caeli, they're suffering from the lack of vision, because now Coin, he can just sit in the fog of war, jump at you from wherever he wants. That's the story for everyone on the side of Tejn right now. And so until they can secure this vision, it's just so difficult for them. The problem is they're just getting pushed down everywhere. They need Hunike to be able to step up to Zed, because if he isn't, he sends someone like Holberg there. And sure, as long as Coin doesn't have ulti, that can work. But if he does have the death mark available, he just dies.
Now Hunike jumping onto resource and Sanguine Pool has been utilized by that Vladimir, and a great Vanguard's edge. Hunike able to get 1 kill back for his team.
And Coin wasn't there, so alas, Hunike survives. I feel like we can play a game of bingo off of this. Now, the bot lane, like the Panda and Gorange are able to just clear out wave after wave after wave. And we're slowly going to be transitioning into not the late game just yet, but I want to talk about it a bit, because once again, it's going to be pretty difficult for Tejn to do anything as soon as it is hit late game with the full items on everyone on the side of Caeli. So they do have essentially a time window that they have to utilize. The advantage that they have is they have complete vision control in the rivers. They have the Baron up, they could definitely go for it. There's nothing that Caeli can do right now, which is why you see them heading towards it, clearing out the vision.
Coin looking for his prey. Nick the Panda seems to be the target. Coin already dominating. Now 1 versus 2 against Hunike. Gorange, can he survive? Can he get some kills? He does not. A shutdown will be picked up for Hunike. Overall, a 2-for-1 trade though, as Lazy Panda falls down. That is the smite gone if you are Caeli.
But however, that is a big champion down on the side of Tejn. Coin falling down, he requested a lot of ultimates being thrown his way, but in the end, he falls and gives 1,000 gold over into the pockets of Nico, who is still building attack speed. Yeah, sure, whatever, just hate me, I think, Nick the Panda. Of course, right now, the silver lining is that as soon as Coin is dead, remember, he has most of the kills on his team. The rest of his team doesn't have precisely too much in the form of raw damage output. So, whenever you kill Zed and you get that sweet gold shutdown money from him, there's a pretty big gap in time where Tejn, they're pretty unable to do anything, and you can utilize that to set up vision, something that Caeli, well, didn't precisely do if you look at the vision control on both of the objectives, that being the Baron and the Dragon.
Yeah, on the Baron, they've got some defensive vision at the peripheries of their own jungle, which will help them to know if Tejn are going for anything. Now, Lazy Panda is going to be spotted by the wards whilst clearing out the existing vision on the Baron. Now, the Dragon spawning is the Mountain Drake, so it is important if you want to burst the Baron or any of the objectives, and I would expect at least some fighting over it.
Oh yeah, especially now that it is going to be that Mountain Drake, you do not want to allow the side of Tejn to get that second one, because while they do not have too much of pure objective damage, remember they don't have any percentage health damage, they have just that Lucian, and so it is going to be pretty detrimental if they don't get these Mountain Drakes now.
Wait, Rose jumping forward into the fight, like, hold on, it's just gonna get deleted! Gorange trying to survive in this backline, but Coin with a double kill. Resources still on the run with that Vladimir, and a flash forward deathlock. Nick the Panda, you are going to die unless the stun coming through. Coin on a killing spree, picking up yet another shutdown, and a full ace for Tejn.
And this just feels so bad if you're Caeli. Tejn, they're able to just push into this base once again. One botched up team fight is all it takes. The inhibitor turret falls, the inhibitor itself is now on the menu. However, Tejn, they decide to play with their foot for a bit. They're going to be playing this one out a bit slower than the last time around. They're going to go for this Baron buff, but there is not much that Caeli can do to stop it.
Lazy Panda still 10 seconds and it will be spawning, and even then, how is he gonna get into the pit? Coin is just insane on this set. He's got 4 AD items that in some shape or form are penetrating armor. So even if you get defenses, it's not gonna help you much. And on top of that, you've got Resource and Hekatos to be afraid of. This time, Team Com, they are looking to punch their ticket straight to the final.
Yeah, they're saying, well, we came here, we want to win, we're in this Division 2, Coin. Stop, you madman. Jesus Christ. But regardless, Tejn, they want to get into the finals. Caeli with a cheeky dragon, I have to say.
They won't be able to secure it.
Yeah, they got the mountain one, but it's only after the Baron has been taken, so well, not much there happening in the end.
Not at all, and the inhibitor is open, it is bleeding. Someone needs to defend those super minions, and it just gives Tejn so much space in this jungle, and they are looking to be truly unstoppable.
Yeah, well, truly unstoppable. Isn't that like the new effect that they're adding to League?
I really don't want to know.
That's actually outside of the truly invisible and truly vision. Of course, Coin is going to be able to just steal away this red buff. Tejn, they're completely dominating inside of this jungle. It is so difficult for Caeli to really do anything because they do not have the vision to know where Rose is going to be jumping at them from, as well as Coin. This guy has level 16. He is such scary assassin right now to be playing against. 12-3, by the way. He also has finished up the, what's it called? The Lord Dominic's, yes? Now, he just shreds everyone. That's essentially true damage that he's dealing.
Yeah, pretty much, and Tejn, they are proving why they were the #1 team in the regular split. They are looking to go straight into the finals with the one last engage. Holbeck is going to get brought back into his entire team. He gets a nice shock. Everything Tejn looking to follow up with that pop blossom, and a lot of damage is coming through, but Tejn, they just decimate the side of Caeli. Hunike is going to drop down, and Tejn don't even lose a single member. They will continue their undefeated streak. They will not lose a single game, and a 2-0 will send them to the finals.
The very messy game. I'm gonna come in with the analytics approach. This game was a lot more messy for Tejn. However, in the end, they're able to punch their tickets, even though they're already there, to Randers into finals. Now they're going to be facing someone. Damn, I accidentally pressed the stream, and now I'm hearing myself twice. There we go. I don't want to be listening to myself. They are the first victors of the quarterfinals. Of course, guys, do not go anywhere. We're still gonna have another game. However, so far, if this is the first semifinals, I think we can be expecting of a really, really interesting second one.
I think we definitely can. Let's maybe talk more about what just happened, because Caeli, that's it for them. They have lost to Tejn, but they did put up a good fight. I am personally really impressed with Hunike and how he has been able to utilize this Irelia in this series.
Yeah, and I feel like Hunike coming into this game, I have had personally a lot of question marks around him because he is sort of that coin flip. Damn it. He isn't necessarily the most consistent of players, and he has been faltering to a lot of the other top laners, which is why I'm super happy to see him pop off this much in both of these games. In the end, he was unable to do anything, but that was simply because Coin was popping off, well, harder than him, and so in the end, he was unable to do too much, but I think that, you know, he's got future. I think that he's a really good player, and if we're going to be seeing Caeli move into that spring split together with the rest of SRG, I believe that they still have power in them. They still have those flames, and I do not think that there is anything to be ashamed of in this victory. It's just that Tejn, they were the better team today.
They were, and we're moving into the finals. They will face either Lyra or Roskilde. I would be worried after seeing this. Tejn, they still didn't lose a single game. They have not lost a single Nexus since, what, January? They are just doing the same thing over and over again. And does not matter how hard teams are trying to counteract them. Caeli had the lead. It doesn't matter. Coin will still find you, he will kill you, and he will just carry the entire game.
Yeah, well, Tejn, they're truly something, I have to say, because they have so many of these carry lanes, and even though Resorson didn't precisely do too much in these games, he still was that solid side lane. So Tejn, they just showed us that they know how they want to play the game. And a reminder, in the first game, they didn't go for an invade. I just, you know, want you guys to remember that, because that is a trademark of Tejn, and I feel like we have to watch that going into the finals. You mentioned that it's going to be Lyra and Roskilde that is going to be facing them in the finals. We are going to be seeing who that is going to be, of course, later today at 10:30, I believe that is, unless we fast forward that a tiny bit. I'm unsure how that works, but yeah, that's going to be a lovely one.
Yeah, so, well, that was the first semi-final. Tejn, they come out victorious, a quick 2-0, and I believe that for now, at least, it will be it from us. We will be back in roughly 50-40 minutes, maybe even earlier, so definitely do not go anywhere, because the second semi-final will be coming up shortly. We'll see you then.